Good day and welcome to this Focus On segment with myself, Zanele Morrison. Today we put the spotlight on the upcoming Africa50 General Shareholders meeting taking place in Madagascar in September. African leaders and business leaders gather yearly to look towards bankable projects to boost African trade, strengthen trade and investment partners, and attract investment opportunities. Joining me from Madagascar is the Minister of Economy and Finance, Rindra Hasimbelo, to unpack some of these. Minister, thank you so much for your time. Now, we do see the economic outlook as per the AFDB report on the economy of Madagascar, one that's showing great promise and growth year on year, especially from 23 to 24. What key industries is Madagascar leading with?
Thank you and good morning. Right, indeed. Compared to sub-Saharan African countries, Madagascar is one of the countries that have been able to recover after the global health crisis, the COVID-19. And we attribute this forecast largely to the growth of Madagascar's tourism sector and supply capacity in key sectors, including natural minerals and telecommunications. Public investment also increased significantly to 12.2% of Madagascar's GDP in 2023, compared to 5.4% 1 year before in 2022. The government is determined to regain the progress we made towards sustainable economic growth pre-pandemic. Foreign direct investment inflows reached a record of $342 million in 2023, up 27% from the previous year. And the economic plan of Madagascar aims to boost domestic industries, facilitate FDI flows and job creation, and further improve Madagascar's competitiveness in global value chains. And it is actually the second main pillar of our president's policy for his second term. And in order to accelerate Madagascar's development, we need to support a reformed global financial architecture that allows us to diversify funding sources, achieve better lending conditions, and facilitate access to innovative financing, including climate, green, and blue bonds.
Now, when it comes to the conference that's going to be held in Madagascar, in my mind, you have two major issues to solve for. One is poverty and the other one is youth unemployment, with the highest growth of unemployed people really being young people between the ages of 15 or 30 or so. How are you going to frame what type of investments you use or need to position, with an opportunity like this? Because it has the potential to raise millions of investments. What is it that you are going out to position and target for Madagascar's growth?
So due to its geographical position, you know that Madagascar is extremely vulnerable to extreme weather events. And according to the UNDP, Madagascar is the third most vulnerable country in the world to climate change. So one of the main sectors that we have to deal with is, instead of the youth sector, is mainly the climate change.
And climate change investment has become very important. But what kind of solutions are you looking at for Madagascar in climate change, be it prevention and be it really mitigation of the current challenges?
As I said earlier, Madagascar is extremely vulnerable to weather events. For example, we suffered more than 70 climate-related disasters over the last 30 years, and 20% of which were extended drought leading to famine. So we also register higher incidences of cyclones, floods, and unpredictable rainfall patterns. And these disasters are estimated to have cost the government around 4.8% of our GDP in a single year. And this puts severe strain on Madagascar's debt sustainability and fiscal space. but they also cause severe harm to our population, many of whom rely on agriculture for their livelihoods. So tackling climate change challenges will be critical for Madagascar's long-term macroeconomic resilience. And yes, it's estimated that the country alone requires $1 billion per year to adapt to the effects of the climate change. And we need to channel more climate funding from our partners to help us achieve these goals and turn the climate crisis into an opportunity to innovate and boost resilience. Allow me to take this opportunity to raise our voice regarding one important idea that we strongly support, which is the idea of debt climate exchange. Actually, the quantity of CO2 emitted by Madagascar, as in Africa, is much lower than the quantity emitted by developed countries. Madagascar is one of the most affected by climate change, and yet it is one that contributes the least to climate change, as the funding received for the fight against climate change remains insufficient, and at the same time, debt accumulates. So debt climate exchange constitute an interesting avenue for the country. The principle involves debt cancellation, provided that the funds reuse is invested in adapting to climate change and mitigating its effect. So time is now to make a new and loud call to any partnership for this idea of debt climate exchange. And this will allow us to reinforce our climate resilience and infrastructure to get prepared for climate disasters.
And that's exactly what I was hoping you would frame around one of the strategies for Madagascar. But you also have a mining sector that you are investing in, and you know long term is important for you. So you have mentioned that agriculture is one of the most affected, and investment may go into agriculture. Would it also go into the production of minerals projects in the mineral space?
Yes, mineral is actually a main sector which support our economy, but mineral is not the only sector in which we are competitive. We are also competitive in every renewable energy. And as you know, the abundance and diversity of Madagascar's natural resources, particularly in solar, wind, hydropower, and biomass, in mineral, as I said earlier, in telecommunication and so on, position the country as a major global player in the future renewable landscape. And the renewable energy in general will be critical to the sustained development of Madagascar economy, helping strengthen energy independence, manage cost effectively, and boost the economy. We have a new investment code and a new mining code that we just adopted last year that will boost our economy to an export sector, to an export performance for the next years.
So you have a lot to share with the investors that are coming to the Africa 50 Summit. Which countries and which types of investors will be coming that you already know you have started to build relationships and partnerships with, and now perhaps solidifying those conversations during the conference?
Yes, Madagascar government is honored to partner with Africa50 for its annual General Assembly in Antananarivo in September, and we will have it will convene business leaders, policymakers, investors, and development partners committed to future or of infrastructure development. The Madagascar's government welcomes increased participation in the infrastructure asset class from African investors. For example, we have a project called Vulbe, in which Africa50 is involved. We have also, for example, Action Group, an African-led Madagascar headquartered group operates, which operate the largest solar farm in the East Indian Ocean, which is based in Abatlampi. And the group also helped pioneer on an initiative to bring clean, affordable, and reliable energy to 120 new villages in Madagascar. But we also have other partners, multilateral partners like AFDB, for example, or the World Bank or the IMF. We just benefited from 2 programs from the IMF and the World Bank. So from the World Bank, we have a portfolio in Madagascar which stands at $4.1 billion, including 26 national projects and 4 regional operations. And with the IMF, we have the program that we called Resilience and Sustainability Facility. And with the World Bank, we have a program called the Repair Program, which aim to help us for the resilience and for the climate change mitigation. So we have many partners already committed to Madagascar sustainable development. We still seek for a partner, mainly for private partners, for public-private partner, and for private-private partnership.
And I think the conference definitely will be a place where private partners come to listen in on these initiatives and see how they play a role. But I want to thank you for taking the time to lay them out early for us in anticipation to the conference, Africa50 conference in Madagascar. I'd like to thank my guest there, Rindra Hasimbelo, Minister of Economy and Finance for Madagascar, for joining me today. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, do take care.